Incorrect access code. Please re-enter your access code. Access code accepted. To start, this conference is being recorded.
Kripa bindu diya koroe dase trina pekatina. Gurudev Kripa bindu diya koroe dase trina pekayatihina. Gurudev Kripa bindu diya sakala sane bolodiya koro nijamani spriyahina. Sakala sane bolodiya koro nijamani spriyahina. Sakale saman korite shakati dehonata jata jata. Sakale saman korite shakati dehonata jata jata. Tabe to gaibo horinama sukhe aparadha behata. Tabe to gaibo horinama sukhe aparadha behata. Kabhi hai no kripa labhiye janno kritarte hoy benata. Kabhi hai no kripa labhiye janno kritarta hoy benata. Shakti buddhi ame ati din koro more atmasata. Shakti buddhi ame ati din koro more atmasata. Shakti buddhi ame ati din koro more atmasata. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna saro. kichu nahi pai tomara. Number 4. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna saro. Karuna na huile kandiya kandiya pranana rakhibo aro. Karuna na huile kandiya kandiya pranana rakhibo aro. Gurudev kripa bindu diya koroe dase trinapekayati hina. Gurudev kripa bindu diya Gurudev kripa bindu diya koroe dase trinapekayati hina. Gurudev, with a drop of mercy, make the servant of yours humbler than a blade of grass. Give me the strength to bear all trials and troubles, and free me from all desire for honor. Sakale saman korete shakate deho nata jata jata. Tabito gaibo harinama suke aparada habe hata. O Lord and Master, please invest me with the power to honor all living beings properly. Only then will I sing the holy name in great ecstasy, free of offenses. Kabihai no kripa labihai jano kritarta hoi benato. Shakti bhudihin Amiyati din koro more atmasato. O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this weak and foolish devotee? Please make me your beloved servant. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna saro. Karuna na huile kandiya kandiya pranana rakhibo aro. When I examine myself, I find nothing of value. Therefore, your mercy is essential to me. If you are not merciful, I shall simply weep and shall not maintain my life. Gurudev kripa bindu diya koroe dase trinapekayati hina. Gurudev Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Trinapekayati Hina Gurudev Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Trinapekayati Hina Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Trinapekayati Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Trinapekayati Hina Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swayam Rupa Katah Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parija Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Welcome. Where are you coming from?
Fremont.
Fremont, nice.
I've been here before.
Yeah.
Off and on.
Nice to see you again.
For the last 3 weeks,
Hey, are you done with me? I need a place to clean them, otherwise I can sit here all night.
Good to see you. What are your names?
my name's Robert.
Robert?
And Father Anna.
Hey, Paul.
Nephew, Peter, he says.
Sanju?
Sanju.
Anyo Hashimika. Well, if it is, there's a middle unit you can go to, and you can still listen to it out there. So when more people come and it gets concentrated, you may notice more. So.
I'm hoping they'll behave.
That's the middle unit right behind you, just in case. It's got play area back there. Is it cleaned up now? And just in case. And then I think it's also being broadcast back there too. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We're continuing with our reading of the Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, and this is the Adi Lila. So far, we've reached text 57, but tonight we're going to review a little bit before we move on from here. This particular chapter is called The Spiritual Masters. So in the Caitanya Caritamrita, Kaviraj Goswami begins with this Mangala Charana, which forms the basis of the rest of the book. Each one of the verses he comments on after this and fluffs it out. So I'll read the Mangala Charana verses. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I offer my obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full of the six opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi, as the moon appeared from the ocean. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Sheshanag, and the Vishnus, who lie in the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk, are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portion. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshana in the midst of the Chaturvyuha, consisting of Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation called Karnadakshayi Vishnu, lying on the Karna ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhadakshayi Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhadakshayi Vishnu sprouts the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of that lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. That Kshirodakshayi Vishnu is the supersoul of all living entities and the maintainer of all the universes. Sheshanag is his further subpart. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita, and because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. Why is he called Acharya? He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee, therefore I take shelter of him. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is non-different from his features as a devotee, devotional incarnation, devotional manifestation, pure devotee, and devotional energy. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, where? Underneath a desire tree, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. Sri Srila Gopinath, who originated the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands on the shore in Vamshivat and attracts the attention of the cowherd damsels with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Glory to Sri Caitanya and Nityananda. Glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. 18 Thakur Gode Jake Kari Jachena Atmasat. 18 Era Charana Vondon Tene Mora Nat. These three deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinath, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the lords of my heart. Purport. The author of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita offers his respectful obeisances unto the three deities of Vrindavan, named Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Sri Radha Govinda Dev, and Sri Radha Gopinathji. These three deities are the life and soul of the Bengali Vaishnavas or Gaudiya Vaishnavas, who have a natural aptitude for residing in Vrindavan. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, who follow strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sounds meant to develop a sense of one's transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord, a reciprocation of mellows, rasas, of mutual affection, and ultimately the achievement of the desired success in loving service. These three deities are worshipped in three different stages of one's development. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scrupulously follow these principles of approach. So let's go over this one section. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, who follow strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sounds meant to develop a sense of one's transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord, a reciprocation of mellows, rasas, of mutual affection, and ultimately the achievement of the desired success in devotional service. So this chanting of divine sounds is the basic process and the cause of one's of devotional service, which begins with Shravanam, hearing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had recommended that from any position of life, if one hears about Krishna and the association of devotees, then one's heart will become purified and one will come to reawaken one's natural love for Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shude Chitte Karai Udoy. The natural aptitude of the living entity is to love God. But when that loving propensity is covered by Maya, then I love many other entities and distract my loving propensity to them. But by hearing, says the verse, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shudachite, means that there's a purification of heart by Shravanadi. Shravana and Adi. Adi, that means by hearing, but also through many other processes of devotional service. Then the heart becomes purified, Shravanadi Shudachite, and the consciousness becomes pure. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this at the outset of his Shikshashtakam Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, that the consciousness becomes purified by the process of Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. That transcendental vibration is not different from Krishna. If you'll give me the first canto, please. Narada Muni mentions mantra murtim amurtikam. Murti means form, and it also means difficulty. So amurtikam means without difficulty. And Narada Muni points out that this sound vibration of chanting the holy name of the Lord and hearing about Him is the process by which one can attain perfection without much difficulty. This is first canto, 5th chapter, 38th verse. And the verse is as follows. Iti murtya abhidanena mantra murtim amurtikam yajite yagya purusham sasamyak darshanam puman. Thus he is the actual seer who worships in the form of transcendental sound representation the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who has no material form. Purport. Is the sound on in the middle unit so they can hear? It is. Purport. Our present senses are all made of material elements, and therefore they are imperfect in realizing the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu. He is therefore worshipped by sound representation via the transcendental method of chanting. Anything which is beyond the scope of experience by our imperfect senses can be realized fully by the sound representation. A person transmitting sound from a far distant place can be factually experienced. If this is materially possible, why not spiritually? This experience is not a vague impersonal experience. It is actually an experience of the transcendental personality of Godhead, who possesses the pure form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. In the Amara Kosh Sanskrit dictionary, the word murti carries import in twofold meanings, namely form and difficulty. Therefore, amurtikam is explained by Acharya Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as meaning without difficulty. The transcendental form of eternal bliss and knowledge can be experienced by our original spiritual senses, which can be revived by chanting of the holy mantras or transcendental sound representations. Such sound should be received from the transparent agency of the bonafide spiritual master, and the chanting may be practiced by the direction of the spiritual master. That will gradually lead us nearer to the Lord. This method of worship is recommended in the Pancharatrik system, which is both recognized and authorized. The Pancharatrik system has the most authorized codes for transcendental devotional service. Without the help of such codes, one cannot approach the Lord. Certainly not by Without the help of such codes, one cannot approach the Lord, certainly not by dry philosophical speculation. The Pancharatrik system is both practical and suitable for this age of quarrel. The Pancharatrik is more important than the Vedanta for this modern age. So there are, as we hear in this verse, there are codes through which we can realize the form of the Lord, and the sound representation of Krishna in the sound of His names and the mantras are identical with the Lord. So by hearing them, mantra murtim amurtikam, that mantra which carries the form of the Lord is amurtikam, and as we just heard, murti means difficulty, and it also means form. So amurtikam means without difficulty we can realize the full form of the Lord. And this Pancharatrik system is a series of practices through which we can directly connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the mantras in the Pancharatrik system are passed down through great devotees like Narada Muni and give us full access to the Lord. And they're very important in this current age where there's so much distraction that one can't take the time to live a whole life dedicated to brahmacharya and then absorption of the Vedic sounds and principles. but one can take advantage of the Pancharatric system. So I'm just responding to the first very dense paragraph where Prabhupada has written, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who follow strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sounds meant to develop a sense of one's transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord. A reciprocation of mellows, rasas, of mutual affection, and ultimately the achievement of the desired success in devotional service. So this is all attained through following the process which has been passed down, and mostly through the transcendental sound. These three deities are worshipped in three different stages of one's development. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scrupulously follow these principles of approach. Any comment so far?
I have one question.
Okay.
More question like. You are saying that the sound, you are giving more importance to sound, but sound and the form, they are all interrelated. Whenever you speak Krishna, the form also comes along with the sound. So you have said something here that the form is, we cannot see the form. We do see the form. Only thing is we don't see that sweetness in that form which Lord Krishna carries, because we are so, our heart is not that pure, and that is why we cannot see all the good qualities of in that form. But we do see the form. As soon as we say Krishna, here comes the form also along with it. Am I correct?
Well, you said two things. I mean, you said, aren't we seeing, I mean, it was sort of a question.
Yeah.
That we see the form, don't we?
Yeah.
Aren't we seeing the form? And the answer is no, we're not. We don't see the form until we hear. In fact, if people who have not heard about Krishna, they can see the form all day long and they miss it. It's like if you don't know the Queen of England, she could be walking right next to you or sitting next to you on the bus, which would be highly unlikely. But you still wouldn't know that it was Queen Elizabeth sitting next to you because you never heard about her until somebody taps you on the shoulder and said, that's Queen Elizabeth, she lives in Buckingham Palace, she's the richest woman in the world, and blah, blah, blah. And then you oh, this is the Queen. I had personal experience of this because before coming to the Krishna consciousness movement, I had no information except for what I read in Prabhupada's books about God being a person. And I was more attracted to the impersonal feature of the Lord. In fact, although I had a mantra, which I just picked up out of a book and started chanting on my own, I'd look everywhere and I would appreciate the fact that, you know, God was in everything. God was everything. And when I first came to the temple and, you know, the devotees sort of pushed me forward and said, here you go, I looked at the flowers. Because I was thinking, what is this other thing? It didn't really attract my mind or heart at all at first. I just thought, you know, why would they do that? You know, but I was fully appreciating the flowers until I started hearing, and I heard Bhagavatam, and I heard the codes, the Pancharatric codes, and then I began to realize that there was actually a form of God, and started to appreciate that he was in his form and so forth. And Rupa Goswami says it in his Namashtakam about how there's a form of the Lord and then there's the name of the Lord. And he said they're identical, but at the same time, the name is more merciful, he concludes. Because although one may offend Krishna or offend the form of the Lord, the name still avails himself to us or to anyone. For instance, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we go on Harinam Sankirtan, we go to Palo Alto, and we chant in public. And many people walk by. If we show them the form of Krishna, they may be vaguely interested or not. But the name follows them down the street. It enters in their ear holes and enlivens them. So actually it's true. There is no difference between the name and the form. But of the two, the name, the sound vibration is more important because after hearing the sound vibration, then we realize the form. Another point?
In the Namastakam also it says that of the two, the name is more merciful.
Yeah,
Sound.
the name is more merciful, because even though one may be an offender, still the name avails himself to the person and plunges him into an ocean of bliss. Sararam Puchao Majati.
As you were telling from one that Anavritti Sabdat from Vedanta Sutra.
Anavritti Shabdat, Anavritti Shabdat. The Vedanta Sutra says this: the absolute truth is realized by the sound. And from that sound, one does not come back to the material world.
And also, like I heard like once, and at this past time, like with like gopis, and in the Mayapur, the temple president Pankajangri Prabhu was like asking devotees which is more dangerous, like for gopis, like Krishna's sound or Krishna's like his eyes, like which is more dangerous. So then so we all told, okay, no, it's Krishna's eyes, like no, his form and like sound, which is more dangerous. He told like, and we told eyes. He told no, Krishna's and the flute vibration is much more dangerous, because gopi can't. Once they hear, they can't make them back and keep them in home. They leave everything and then they have to come out. And that was like practically we were in the front of Radha Madhav, and Pankajangri Prabhu told, I am not so Janivas Prabhu, Pankajangri Prabhu, and as soon as we told, the flute fall down from the Krishna's hand in front of all of us. It was like Krishna saying directly, and he's talking with the Pujari, head Pujari, that yes, you are right. It was amazing experience in the front.
So in a practical way, the student begins by hearing, and the sound of the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the holy name, all of these fortify the devotee, purify the heart, and attract the attention of the soul to come to Krishna all at once. So what's being pointed out here is that this hearing process is sufficient to bring one to one's relationship with Krishna. May I please have the Sharanagati by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the blue book? In fact, at the end of the Sharanagati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this poem about how the holy name personally takes him by the hand back to Godhead. What power does the name of Krishna possess? My heart constantly burns in the fire of worldly desires, just like a desert scorched by the rays of the sun. The holy name entering the core of my heart through the holes of my ears showers unparalleled nectar upon my soul. The holy name speaks from within my heart, moves onto the tip of my tongue, and constantly dances on it in the form of transcendental sound. My throat becomes choked up, my body shivers again and again, and my feet cannot remain still. Rivers of tears flow from my eyes, perspiration completely soaks my body. All my skin thrills with rapture, my hairs stand on end, and my complexion turns pale and discolored. My mind grows faint, I begin to experience devastation, and my entire body is shattered in a flood of ecstatic emotions. While causing such an ecstatic disturbance, the holy name showers liquid nectar on my heart and drowns me in the ocean of divine love of Godhead. He does not allow me to understand anything, for he has made me truly mad by having stolen away my mind and my resources. Such is the behavior of him in whom I have taken shelter. I am not capable of describing all this. The holy name of Krishna is independent and thus acts on his own sweet will. In whatever way he becomes happy, that is also my way of happiness. The holy name of the Lord, the holy name is the bud of the flower of divine love, and is the very abode of astonishing mellows. Such is the power he manifests, that when his holy name starts to blossom a little further, it then reveals his own divine form and qualities. Thus my heart is abducted and taken directly to Krishna. blossoming fully, the flower of the holy name takes me to Vraja and reveals to me his own love dalliance. This name gives to me my own eternal spiritual body, keeps me right by Krishna's side, and completely destroys everything related to this mortal frame of mine. The name of Krishna is a transcendental touchstone, a mine of all devotional mellows. It is eternally liberated and the embodiment of pure rasa. When all impediments to the pure chanting of the holy name are taken away and destroyed, then my happiness will know its true awakening. So again, I'll read the sentence. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas who follow strictly in the line of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sounds meant to develop a sense of one's transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord, a reciprocation of mellows, rasas, of mutual affection, and ultimately the achievement of the desired success in loving service. So what is it that brings one to the one's transcendental loving experience, the mellows of love and to the perfection of devotional service? What's that? Chanting of transcendental sound. So it's a worthwhile occupation? I'd like to enter also this next section into evidence. This is from the 4th chapter of the Adi Leela, text number 34. Did that nice family that came in end up in the middle unit? Just make sure that they're okay, and if they're planning on, make sure they're happy. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamashitaha bhajate tadrishi kridha yashrutva tatparo bhavet. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. Purport: this text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-36. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form, who eternally exist in the spiritual world. This material world is only a perverted reflection of the spiritual world where everything is manifested without inebriety. Please look up that word. Mukharavin, could you look up inebriety, please?
Inebriety is something, say, the storm is coming and something destruction happens.
Okay. There, everything is in its original existence, free from the domination of time. Time cannot deteriorate or interfere with the conditions in the spiritual world, where different manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the recipients of the worship of different living entities in their constitutional spiritual positions. In the spiritual world, all existence is unadulterated goodness. The goodness found in the material world is contaminated by the modes of passion and ignorance. You're all right? Okay. The saying that the human form of life is the best position for devotional service has its special significance because only in this form can a living entity revive his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of species of life in the material world. If one takes advantage of this highest kind of material form, one can regain his position of devotional service to the Lord. Incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in all the species of life, although this is inconceivable to the human being, to the human brain. Is it inconceivable to you all? That's good. That means you have human brains. The Lord's pastimes are differentiated according to the appreciating capacity of the different types of bodies of the living entities. The Supreme Lord bestows the most merciful benediction upon human society when he appears in his human form. It is then that humanity gets the opportunity to engage in different kinds of eternal service to the Lord. Inebriety. This is what doesn't exist in the spiritual world.
Inebriety means drunkenness or intoxication.
Drunkenness or intoxication, and where does the word come from?
There's no more.
Yes.
It comes from Latin, which is inebriare. And
Inebriare. Sounds like drunkenness. Inebriare.
From ebrius, which means drunk.
Drunk.
Ebrius.
Ebrius. Huh.
Inebriety is a Hindi word, or Sanskrit word.
Is it?
Yeah. It is an English word also? Inebriety. Okay, sorry. Then I didn't know about it.
Yes? Okay. We're getting texts coming in, even though we didn't give the number, which is 650-245-7018. That's 650-245-7018. Operators are standing by to take your calls. Go ahead.
This is our very own Gandharvika Mataji. She's saying that, Prabhu, you have stressed so much on hearing. Does hearing alone purify our heart, or is it that because of hearing we engage in service and that purifies our heart?
In of itself, and I'll prove it. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana ridyantaksto hibadrani vidhunoti suritsatam. This verse specifically says, this is 1:217, Srimad Bhagavatam, that the shlokas in and of themselves have the capacity to purify the heart because they're Krishna. And Krishna helps the devotee from within the heart to purify the dirty things that are manifest, that have accumulated there. Go ahead.
And
sorry.
I think that also covered the one that's coming up next. I'd like to know the science behind purification by hearing.
Who's that?
That's Gandharvika.
Okay.
Yeah. What type of hearing is required in order to achieve the symptoms that Bhakti
Ardent hearing. Give me the first canto back again. Ardent hearing is required. And look up the word ardent. But first give me the Bhagavatam. And for a long time, you must hear with rapt attention. For a long time. How long?
40
A long time, at least 40 years. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam 1:344. O learned Brahmanas, when Shukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention. What kind of attention?
Rapt attention.
That means like the word rapture, where you're fully entranced and listening with full attention. Okay, what word did I ask you to look up?
Ardent.
What is ardent?
Ardent, expressing or characterized by warmth of passion, emotion or desire.
Warmth, passion, emotion, or desire. Also look up rapt. O learned Brahmins, when Shukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention. What kind of attention?
Carried away.
And thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Purport. One can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam if one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Shukadeva Goswami. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who's associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. What is the secret of learning Bhagavatam, Mukharvind?
Hearing submissively from a person.
No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam. That means that someone who's enraptured by the material world, and the greatest force in the material world is sex. Yanmai tunari griyamedi sukham hitucham kandu yanena karayor evatu kadukam. Prahlad Maharaj describes it as the activity which connects us to the material world and causes an unlimited flow of miseries to come into our life. And Lord Rishabhadev says, Pumsastriya maitani bhava metam tayor mutu hridaya grantamahu ato griya kshetra sutatta vitar janasya moho yamaham ameti. That the basic principle of attachment in material life is the attraction between male and female. And when the male and female come together for sexual union, and then their hearts become tied up in this hard knot. And then they have to get a house and go to Home Depot. And work very hard to maintain all their stuff. And they have to get a kshetra, atogriya kshetra sutatta vitar, and make sure that all the things are safe. And there's great anxieties in that endeavor. And that's what keeps the material world going. Without that, no one would be driving on the 101 freeway. They just keep a little garden in their backyard, grow a few cabbages, and everything would be fine. All right. What's the word?
Wrapped. Wrapped means deeply absorbed or engrossed. It comes from Middle English, that means carried away.
Carried away. You have to be carried away by this sound vibration. Thank you. Where does it come from?
Middle English. Medieval English.
What's the word in Middle English?
This is not written, but Latin it is raptus.
Raptus means?
A part of rapere, to seize.
To seize. It's like you're just grabbed by it, right? That's actually the perfection of devotional service, when you're grabbed by the hearing process and you can't stop. This is the declaration of Kapiladev to his mother. Yadguna shuti matrena. He says that just after hearing, one's attention becomes grabbed. One's heart becomes grabbed. One's mind flows towards that hearing of the pastimes of Krishna, the Krishna Katha of any kind, just the way the Ganges is pulled towards the ocean. And he says that's the indication that one has achieved devotional service that is not tinged by goodness, passion, or ignorance. That your mind and your attention are rapt when you hear Krishna Katha. So you can tell for yourself how much interested you are to hear. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam as associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Shukadeva Goswami and no one else, if one at all wants to see Lord Shri Krishna in the pages. That is the process, and there is no alternative. Sutta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Shukadeva Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Shukadeva Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father, and so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Shukadeva Goswami. Simple hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word nivishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. Gandharvika, are you listening? Are you drinking this with your ears? The word nivishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. So we know that Parikshit Maharaj fasted for 7 days and 7 nights while he heard the Bhagavatam. But he said, I'm not thirsty and I'm not hungry. He said, normally someone who's fasting day and night gets thirsty and hungry. He said, I'm not thirsty and hungry. He was getting intravenous injection from the Bhagavatam. It was going in. He was drinking all right. It's just a different kind of drinking, and this is the perfection of hearing the Bhagavatam when it makes you oblivious to the other activities of the world, that you're in rapt attention. You're drinking with your ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if one hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one may assuredly see Lord Sri Krishna in person in the pages of the Bhagavatam. What was the rest of Gandharvika's question?
Service is important. Service.
Can we hear it?
Yeah, so the question was, does hearing alone purifies our heart, or is it that because of hearing we engage in service and that purifies our heart? That you answered. I'd like to know the science behind purification by hearing. What type of hearing?
The science of purification behind hearing. So Kapila Dev says, Satam prasangam mama virya sambido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kata tajjoshanadashu apavarga vartmani shadaratir bhaktya anukramishruti. And this means that one who associates with pure devotees will naturally hear the vibration that they're making, and that vibration is going to be about Krishna. And the vibration then enters into the ears and then into the heart, and it acts like a tonic to purify the heart. And it changes one's aspiration and one's motive in life. And therefore, one's no longer interested in the activities of the material world, which are called pavarga. Pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. And these are the rules of the material world. First of all, you must work hard. Second is you must work so hard that foam comes from your mouth. And next is that there's frustration, and then there's fear at every step, and then finally you die. Not very good. Better get it fixed. Then, when you hear through your ears this transcendental sound vibration, it changes those elements. From pavarga it becomes apavarga, which means the process of liberation. You're leaving behind the material world. Your motive changes. Your values change. Instead of being attracted to the reflected material world, you actually become attracted to the real spiritual world. And by such attraction, there's a growth of your relationship. And it begins with shraddha, which means the awakening of faith, or a sentiment for devotional service that means, I believe in this. I believe it's making me better. I believe, and I can see it for myself, that I'm improving. My senses are becoming controlled, and I actually I feel gratitude for the process, and I also see Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Suridan Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy, that by doing this, even if I can't do it, I can see it, that this will take care of everything else. I don't have to do any other occupation. If you just serve Krishna, everything else will come automatically. Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityashaha. Tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. Krishna says, if you just concentrate your attention on me, then I'm easy to attain, Arjuna. And for such a person who's always absorbed in Krishna, Krishna carries what he lacks and preserves what he has. So this faith grows, shraddha, ratir, and then there's a positive attraction to Krishna in the stage of rati. One gets a taste, a positive taste, and there's a descent of the internal potency, which is described by Caitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. This internal potency of the Lord is like a sun ray that touches the heart. and it melts the heart. And then the heart becomes full of mellows or feelings, transcendental feelings for Krishna in a relationship. Just like in the material world, the perverted reflection is people say they fell in love. Of course, they fall out of love all the time, too. And then they hate the person and wish they were dead and start stalking them and want to kill them and stuff. Duct tape and all that stuff. So, that's a perverted reflection of the actual sentiment that's there for Krishna in the heart, and it awakens through the process of hearing in the association of devotees. When that sun ray of the internal energy touches the heart of the devotee, then that relationship awakens. And there's an inkling for one's actual relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It actually descends. Jiva Goswami says, the devotee thinks it's my idea, that it's coming from my own intelligence, that I'm thinking I should worship Krishna in this way. But actually, it's the descent of Krishna's mercy into the heart of the devotee that he's starting to reawaken his actual eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then his aspiration starts. He begins to aspire. Tishtan vraje tananuragi jananugami means that he becomes a follower of a particular devotee who's in a mood of devotion in Vraj, and wants to follow that devotee, everything that devotee does, and becomes more focused in hearing about that particular devotee and the pastimes that he has with Krishna and so forth, and how he serves or she serves. And Shraddha Ratir Bhakti Anukrami Shriti, then Bhakti comes after one attains asakti, attachment, which means there's full focus on devotional service, nothing else. And then bhava, which means the awakening of the emotions within the heart. And then there's prema, which is practically indescribable, but it's described anyway by Caitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. What are the symptoms of someone in prema? And he also describes the symptoms of one in bhava, shantir avyarta kalatvam, viraktirmana shunyata, ashabanda kala shanta, namagana sadaruchi. He names 9 symptoms of somebody in bhava, and the first one is forgiveness, that he forgives whatever happens. He's not reactive in a way that, he's given the example of Maharaj Parikshit when he was cursed by this little brat who said, let the king die in 7 days by bite of the snake bird. You might be a little agitated by that. A little kid comes up and unnecessarily causes you to die, and it's like, look, you kid, I'm a king, what are you doing? But he didn't feel like that at all, because his heart was already in bhava. He had this feeling that, fine, that's Krishna's arrangement, let it come. I forgive him. I forgive the situation. He wasn't reactive to it. He just said, this is Krishna's arrangement. And that vyarta kalatvam means that one doesn't want to waste even a second. Not that there's gaps in devotional service. I finished my rounds, now let me go watch a movie or something like that. Let me look at something more interesting. I did my quota. But there's actually a positive attraction to the holy name and the transcendental vibration in devotional service 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. That's even, Kaviraj Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the devotee serves Krishna actively 24 hours a day. That means even the so-called sleep of a devotee, he's engaged in serving Krishna in his spiritual body. Avyarta kalatvam means he doesn't want to be separated at all at any time from devotional service. Shanti avyarta kalatvam. Virakti means there's detachment from all worldly types of things. This is a sure sign when there's a sustained detachment, scientifically imposed. Sometimes people become detached temporarily through shmashana vairagya, means they go to the crematorium and they see the body of a loved one being burned and they think, what's the use of it all? And for 3 or 4 days they're kind of bummed out. And then after that, all the optimism of the material world comes rushing back in. Well, it's not so bad. At least we have Chuck E. Cheese. And on we go. And so virakti means that the coloration caused by the mode of passion has actually been cleared. It's not there anymore in the heart. So there's no attractive feature of the material world. It doesn't look attractive at all. What is attractive is the pastimes of the Lord and the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That becomes attractive. So virakti takes place naturally when one advances to the stage of bhava. Man shunya. Man shunya means I'm the man. That I'm in charge. I know everything. I'm somebody. I'm important. I'm whatever it is. I know what it is. Or there's a sense of I want gain. I want position. I want some glorification, and I think I deserve it. But man shunya means I'm free from any of that conception. I feel that I'm bereft of anything. My only wealth in life is my connection to my spiritual master and to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My only wealth in life is my ability to hear and chant. And even that, he doesn't become proud of. He feels like I'm the lowest of the low. I'm without anything. Akinchana gochara. And this becomes the qualification. Manashunyata. Ashabandha means there's a longing, a very specific longing for a particular kind of service and devotional service, hankering to serve the Lord in a particular way. Samutkanta, namagani sadaruchi, and he's always attracted to the holy name, always thinking about chanting, always chanting the holy name and so forth, and attracted to the pastimes of the Lord, the Leela, and living in the holy Dham becomes his preoccupation. Even when he's not in the Dham, he or she is thinking about the Dham and remembering the holy Dham. And these are symptoms manifest in someone who has attained the stage of bhava. So all these are attainable by the process of hearing. And this is confirmed by the word anukramishati, which means step by step. When one hears with rapt attention for a long time, then gradually the heart becomes purified and these symptoms begin to manifest within the person who's hearing and chanting. And there's no doubt about it. It's not a matter of was that something? But when actually, when one attains an actual level of devotional service, one can see directly, pratyaksha-vagamam dharmyam, it's directly perceived by the person just as much as when a hungry person eats food and becomes nourished, satisfied, and the hunger goes away, he or she knows what's going on, can tell for him or herself. So similarly, the devotee through the process of hearing actually attains this fortification and positive standing in devotional service. It's scientific, and it's also mentioned in other places that there's a step-by-step process beginning with the verses that I mentioned before. The Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyan Taksto Hibhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashtra Prayishu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalo Barayasjaye Cheta Iter Anavidham Stitam Sattve Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogata Bhagavat Tattva Vijnana Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Radiya Grantis Chinyante China Samshaya Shiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Eva Manishvare. These describe the process of hearing and how it has a systemic effect on the hearer who is hearing with rapt attention, that Krishna helps from within the heart of the devotee, that he gains positive devotional credits just by hearing through the vibration itself. They are inherent in the vibration because the vibration is Krishna. You become wealthy, spiritually wealthy. You have capital, you have assets. You become very, very rich spiritually just by the hearing process. It all goes in there, goes in the bank. And gradually the dirty things that are distracting me from thinking about Krishna, from chanting Hare Krishna, from performing devotional service, They're destroyed practically to nil. Means that they may still be there, but they don't have any actual effect anymore. They're not enough. They're not strong enough to turn my attention away. And then there's a noticeable clearing of the lower modes of material nature, and the consciousness becomes clear. Cheta iter anavidam stitam satve prasidati. One becomes fully situated in the mode of goodness and becomes happy. This is also a sign of advancement through the process of hearing. Evam prasanna manaso, that the mind, the consciousness becomes joyful. No more lamentation. And no hankering either. There's just joy, happiness, gratitude. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha. By this direct process of hearing. Bhagavat tattva vijnanam. And he knows the truth. He knows the tattva. He can see it. She can see it for him or herself. It's clear. Stitam satve prasidati. And then bidyate hridaya grantish chijante sarva samshaya. Any misgiving that was there within the heart, any doubt that was holding me back is cut like a knot is cut by a sword. It's chopped. And one's no longer tethered to this material world and yanked around by the modes of material nature, like a animal who's being yanked around by a chain or a rope. No longer. One's free. One actually becomes a free living entity. No longer a bound down jiva. No fun in being a bound down jiva. But by the process of hearing, one becomes free from this binding. Bidyate hridaya grantish chijante. Chijante. It's cut. It's chopped completely. And the person knows it for sure, and becomes free. So all this is possible by the process of hearing. It's scientific and laid out in the Shastras and emphatically recommended over and over and over and over and over again. So look no further. Don't have any doubt. Simply engage yourself in hearing, and in the beginning, when the hearing doesn't taste very good, or when the mind argues with you that it's not a very good idea, you should be doing something else, just do it out of duty, because the effect will be there. The positive effect is there. You're getting the wealth, and soon it will have it will produce the result. It's like a pregnancy. In the beginning you can't tell, but later on the baby comes out, and you see. So the hearing, just think, it's making you spiritually pregnant. And at first you won't see it. There's an incubation period. It's all taking place internally. And it'll happen. Just have to mature. It has to mature. Was that the end of the question?
Yeah, there's an answer actually.
There's an answer too?
Yeah, because you had asked her the question whether she was drinking from her ears.
Are you drinking from your ears, Gandharvika?
She says, yes, Prabhu, drinking it by your causeless mercy. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Okay, let us all drink through our ears. Okay, if you want to text in at 650-245-7018. We have our operators standing by to take your calls. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from the Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, where we understand that there's an esoteric, mysterious process by which one comes to know the personality of Godhead in various relationships. And one may say, well, that's very mysterious. How can I understand that? Through some, maybe I need a PhD. I have to get a MA or a PhD to understand this. No, you don't require MA, PhD. You require to hear the transcendental topics from the authorized source. And even if you're illiterate, if you stay in that, in the realm of that vibration and you hear it, then the effect will be there. It has to. It's Krishna. And Krishna, also this is mentioned in the second shloka of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna is attracted to the vibration. The Srimad Bhagavatam is so attracted, not only are Atmaramas attracted, Atmaramas Chamunayo Nigranta Apyarukrame. This is the famous verse that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commented on dozens and dozens of times. He gave many different commentaries to this meaning of Atmaramash Chamunayo, that the Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. Same quality as Krishna, same everything. It is Krishna, the sound vibration. Krishna swadamo pagate dharma ganadi bisaha kalunashtra drishamesha purar narko donodita. When Krishna left, Bhagavatam appeared. It said, I'm still here. You could take full advantage of Krishna's association, the personality of Godhead in Vraj, just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Idam Bhagavatam nama puranam brahma samhitam Uttama shloka charitam chakara bhagavan rishi. Nirsheya shaya lokasya dhamnam swastayanam mahat. No difference at all between Bhagavatam and the personality of Godhead. So just by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Atmaramas, or those who are already beyond the modes of material nature, they're not attracted to the material world at all. That rope has been cut. But they also haven't... they have no connection to the material world. When they hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, they also become attracted. This is an indication that Bhagavatam is completely transcendental variety, beyond the material variety. That even those who are liberated souls, they become attracted to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like Shukadev Goswami wanted nothing to do with the material world. He didn't even want to come out of the womb. He was liberated in the womb, and he said, I'm not coming out, because I want nothing to do with the Home Depot program and the 101 freeway. But finally he came out and he took off running. He didn't want anything to do with his family. He didn't want a sacred thread. He said, forget everything. I'm not part of this world. I don't want anything to do with it. But when he heard the verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he became so attracted that he became fully absorbed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It became his life and soul, so much so that then he spoke that same vibration. So Parikshit Maharaj could hear it. It was passed on. So liberated souls become attracted to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the Bhagavatam says that even Krishna becomes attracted to so that's why he stays in your heart. If you keep the vibration of the Bhagavatam going, he becomes captured by it. He's enraptured by hearing it, so he won't leave you. He'll always stay in your heart, so you have to keep the vibration of the Bhagavatam going. So the sentence was, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who follow strictly in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worship the divinity by chanting transcendental sounds meant to develop a sense of one's transcendental relationship with the Supreme Lord. And I was in the middle of another purport. And that is that incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in all the species of life, although this is inconceivable to the human brain. The Lord's pastimes are differentiated according to the appreciating capacity of the different types of bodies of the living entities. I could read that sentence about 10 times. The Supreme Lord bestows the most merciful benediction upon human society when he appears in the human form. It is then that humanity gets the opportunity to engage in different kinds of eternal service to the Lord. How's the temperature in here? Are you a little warm, or do you need a fan or anything like that? What do you need? It's okay? It's what?
It's perfect.
Really? That's amazing. Special natural... Okay, here it is. Okay, get ready. Special natural appreciation of the descriptions of a particular pastime of Godhead indicates the constitutional position of a living entity. One more time. Special natural appreciation of the descriptions of a particular pastime of Godhead indicates the constitutional position of a living entity. Adoration, servitorship, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love are the 5 primary relationships with Krishna. The highest perfectional stage of the conjugal relationship, enriched by many sentiments, gives the maximum relishable mellow to the devotees. So this is also evidence that by hearing, one will gradually develop a natural appreciation for a particular kind of hearing about the Lord. And this is an indication of one's eternal relationship. Gaudiya Vaishnavas perceive the ultimate objective in Vedic hymns composed of 18 transcendental letters that adore Krishna as Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopijana Ballava. Madan Mohan is he who charms Cupid, the god of love. Govinda is he who pleases the senses and the cows. And Gopijana Ballava is the transcendental lover of the gopis. Krishna himself is called Madan Mohan, Govinda, Gopijana Ballava, and countless other names as he plays in his different pastimes with his devotees. So there's a mantra that is being referred to here with, it says 18 transcendental letters, meaning 18 syllables in the mantra. And this is the Gopal mantra, which is bestowed upon a worthy disciple through the disciplic succession. And by chanting that mantra, one can awaken one's very specific love for the Lord in a relationship. These are transcendental codes, a formula. By adhering to the formula, chanting the mantra in the proper way, in the proper attitude, then it will have its effect. Means one must be devoted to it, and one must also be living a life of devotion to the Lord. And one must purify one's existence by staying free from sinful life. Yesham twantakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva mohanir mukta bhajanti mam dhridavrta. One, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, must be free from all sinful life in order to have this rapt attention. There has to be a complete abnegation of one's propensity to commit sin in this world. Can you look up the word sin, please? Is everyone all right? Yeah? Any comments so far? Okay, here we go. It's the Caitanya Caritamrita, so fasten your safety belts. The three deities, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopijana Ballava, have very specific qualities. Worship of Madan Mohan is on the platform of reestablishing our forgotten relationship with the personality of Godhead. In the material world, we are presently in utter ignorance of our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Pango refers to one who cannot move independently by his own strength, and Mandamate is one who is less intelligent because he is too absorbed in materialistic activities. It is best for such persons not to aspire for success in fruit of activities or mental speculation, but instead simply to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The perfection of life is simply to surrender to the Supreme. In the beginning of our spiritual life, we must therefore worship Madan Mohan so that he may attract us and nullify our attachment for material sense gratification. This relationship with Madan Mohan is necessary for neophyte devotees. When one wishes to render service to the Lord with strong attachment, one worships Govinda on the platform of transcendental service. Govinda is the reservoir of all pleasures. When by the grace of Krishna and the devotees one reaches perfection in devotional service, he can appreciate Krishna as Gopijana Ballava and the pleasure deity of the damsels of Vraj. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu explained this mode of devotional service in 3 stages, and therefore these worshipable deities were installed in Vrindavan by different Goswamis. They are very dear to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas there, who visit the temples at least once a day. Besides the temples of these 3 deities, many other temples have been established in Vrindavan, such as the temple of Radha Damodar, Jiva Goswami, the temple of Shama Sundar, of Shamananda Goswami, the temple of Gokulananda of Lokanath Goswami, and the temple of Radha Raman of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. There are 7 principal temples over 400 years old that are the most important of the 5,000 temples now existing in Vrindavan. Gaudiya indicates the part of India between the southern side of the Himalayan mountains and the northern part of the Vindhya hills, which is called Aryavarta, or the land of the Aryans. this portion of India is divided into 5 parts or provinces, Panchagoda Desh. Saraswati, Kashmir and Punjab, Kanyakubja, Uttar Pradesh, including the modern city of Lucknow, Madhya Goda, Madhya Pradesh, Maithila, Bihar, and part of Bengal. Any of this ringing a bell? Yeah. And Utkal, part of Bengal, and the whole of Orissa. Bengal is sometimes called Goda Desh, partly because it forms a portion of Maithila, and partly because the capital of the Hindu king Raj Lakshman Sen was known as Goda. This old capital later came to be known as Godapur and gradually Mayapur. The devotees of Orissa are called Udiyas, the devotees of Bengal are called Gaudiyas, and the devotees of southern India are called Dravida devotees. As there are 5 provinces in Aryavarta, so Dakshinatya, southern India, is also divided into 5 provinces which are called Pancha Dravida. The 4 Vaishnavacharyas, who are the great authorities of the 4 Vaishnava disciplic successions, as well as Sripad Sankaracharya and the Mayavad school, appeared in the Pancha Dravida provinces. Among the 4 Vaishnavacharyas, who are all accepted by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Sri Ramanujacharya appeared in the southern part of Andhra Pradesh, at Mahabhutapuri. Sri Madhvacharya appeared at Pajakam, in the district of Mangalore. Sri Vishnu Swami appeared at Pandya, and Sri Nimbarka appeared at Mangere, Patana, the extreme south. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the chain of disciplic succession from Madhvacharya, but the Vaishnavas in his line do not accept the Tattvavadis, who also claim to belong to the Madhva Sampradaya. To distinguish themselves clearly from the Tattvavadi branch of Madhva's descendants, the Vaishnavas of Bengal prefer to call themselves Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Sri Madhvacharya is also known as Sri Gauda Purnananda, and therefore the name Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya is quite suitable for the disciplic succession of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Our spiritual master Om Vishnupad Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj accepted initiation in the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Now how are you doing? A lot of information. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. The invocation involves 3 processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. The first 2 verses offer respectful obeisances generally and specifically to the Lord, who is the object of worship. In the 3rd verse, I indicate the absolute truth, who is the ultimate substance. With such a description, one can visualize the supreme truth. In the 4th verse, I have invoked the benediction of the Lord upon the world, praying to Lord Chaitanya for his mercy upon all. In that verse, I have also explained the external reason for Lord Chaitanya's incarnation. But in the 5th and 6th verses, I have explained the prime reason for his advent. In these 6 verses, I have described the truth about Lord Chaitanya, whereas in the next 5, I have described the glory of Lord Nityananda. The next 2 verses describe the truth of Advaita Prabhu, and the following verse describes the Panchatattva, the Lord, his plenary portion, his incarnation, his energies, and his devotees. These 14 verses, therefore, offer auspicious invocations and describe the supreme truth. I offer my obeisances unto all my Vaishnava readers as I begin to explain the intricacies of all these verses. I request all my Vaishnava readers to read and hear with rapt attention this narration of Sri Krishna Chaitanya as inculcated in the revealed scriptures. Purport: Lord Chaitanya is the absolute truth, Krishna himself. This is substantiated by evidence from the authentic spiritual scriptures. Sometimes people accept a man as God on the basis of their whimsical sentiments and without reference to the revealed scriptures. But the author of Caitanya Caritamrita proves all his sentiments by citing the Shastras. Thus he establishes that Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna enjoys by manifesting himself as the spiritual masters, the devotees, the diverse energies, the incarnations, and the plenary portions, they are all 6 in 1. Hare Krishna. Well, we advertised we're going to say something about Guru Tattva tonight. And now looks like we might get into it. I therefore worship the lotus feet of these 6 diversities of the one truth by invoking their benedictions. Here's verse 34. Vandesh Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakashams Tatat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samjakam. I offer my respectful obeisances under the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, His plenary portions, His energies, and the primeval Lord Himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Purport. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has composed this Sanskrit verse for the beginning of his book. Now he will explain it in detail. He offers his respectful obeisances to the 6 principles of the Absolute Truth. Gurun is plural in number because anyone who gives spiritual instructions based on the revealed scriptures is accepted as a spiritual master. What did the last sentence say? Okay, so it's based on the revealed scriptures. So a guru is one who gives spiritual instructions, but they're not based on mental speculation. They're based on the revealed scriptures. So that is the definition of a guru, one who speaks on Krishna's behalf, and that means necessarily adhering to the scriptural version. That's the important point. Although others give help in showing the way to beginners, the guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the initiator, and the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters. The initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. Their function is to guide the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. So, the instructing and initiating spiritual masters are very different manifestations of Krishna. True or false? False. The initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. True or false? True. Correct. Isha Bhaktan refers to the devotees of the Lord like Sri Shivas and all other such followers who are the energy of the Lord and who are qualitatively non-different from Him. Isha Avatarakan refers to acharyas like Advaita Prabhu, who is an avatar of the Lord. Taprakashan indicates the direct manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nityananda Prabhu and the initiating spiritual master, Tat Shakti, refers to the spiritual energy, Shakti, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar, Damodara, and Jagadananda belong to this category of internal energy. The 6 principles are differently manifested, but all equally worshipable. Krishnadas Kaviraj begins by offering his obeisances unto them to teach us the method of worshipping Lord Chaitanya. The external potency of Godhead, called Maya, can never associate with the Lord, just as darkness cannot remain in the presence of light. Yet darkness, being but an illusory and temporary covering of light, has no existence independent of light. You want to hear one more purport? Yes. I'm not convinced. Yes. Oh, all right. Text 35. Mantra Guru Aro Jata Shiksha Guru Gan Tahar Charana Age Karye Vandan. I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual masters. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami in his theses, Bhakti Sandarbha, has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas, and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with devotees of Sri Krishna For by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation and in terms of the specific transcendental mellow, rasa, that one has eternally inherent in him. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna-conscious activities, one can know the Supreme Absolute Truth, but he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. A devotee already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back home, back to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress towards spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, therefore, the words of direction should be the pride of the disciple. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the Shastric injunctions. Sri Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary social and ecclesiastical conventions. One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement and spiritual understanding. Okay, the lines are open. You can call in or you can text in. The number to text in is 650-245-7018. And anybody on the phone, are they muted or are they live? They're muted. What if they want to say something? Oh, you can unmute yourself if you want to say something. You can call in. All right. Discussions, comments, reflections, or questions? Take this opportunity.
Prabhuji, hello, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One question: is one can be a good parents, father, mother, or son, but he may not be a devotee. But if one is devotee, is it true that he will be a good father or good mother or good son?
Well, it depends on what kind of devotee. I mean, what level of devotee. I mean, I've seen devotees that have been really terrible parents, and they've been terrible husbands or wives also. Not necessarily. There are various qualities of a devotee mentioned in Shastra. One of them is that they are aspiring to the position of pure devotional service. That's one of the qualities out of 20, and then there are 19 others. And those other 19, would include things that would help one be a good father, mother, or spouse, and so forth. But according to the acharyas, if you have this one quality, and that is that you're devoted to Krishna, but the rest of the qualities aren't there yet, you're still a devotee. But if you have all these other qualities, but you don't have devotion to Krishna, then you don't have anything. So my point is that it's possible to be a devotee of a certain category and still not be very functional as a leader of a family or of a marriage or a company or anything like that. Not necessarily. Although, devotees generally, one of their qualities, although I should say that when someone persists on the path of devotion and is determined, then the Shastra says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatiya kinchanar sarver gunas tatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahad guna manoretenasati davato bihi, that the natural good qualities come out of such a person. And one of the qualities of the devotee is daksha, which means expert at doing many things. But not necessarily true. I mean, there are a lot of devotees in Caitanya Lila. For instance, Vasudeva Datta. He was a pure devotee of the Lord. Prabhupada mentions him as being the most merciful of all the Vaishnavas. He asked Lord Chaitanya sincerely, please let me take all the sins of all the living entities in the material world, all stay and suffer so they can be liberated, and just let me stay here. That was his paradukha dukhi feeling, that he was suffering because of the suffering of others. But later on in the Caitanya Caritamrita, Mahaprabhu tells Shivananda Sain that you have to go help Vasudeva Datta with his family affairs, because he's so absorbed in devotional service, he's neglecting his family. Not paying his bills, he's not attending to anything. And Mahaprabhu said he didn't approve of that. He's a grahastha. He should maintain that balance. So you should help him. So there are pure devotees that may not be expert at being grahasthas. If one's an expert grahastha and he's not a devotee, who cares? Shastra says, who cares? Harava bhaktasa kuto mahad guna manoretenasati davato bahi. It's just a mental whirlwind. It's just a chariot of the mind running around. We don't really care for that so much. Did that help?
Yeah, I think my thinking was, all these material, good qualities, if people have, like being a father or mother or son or daughter, if you're not a devotee, you're not, as you mentioned, who cares? But if you're a devotee, I was thinking maybe by default, you develop that, compassion or love, by default, being a devotee, you should be able to carry on your other, responsibilities as, as needed. So that was my point.
Yeah, well, I mean, practically speaking, this world and devotional service take a lot of work. I mean, being a good mother or father or anything like that, it takes a lot of work. And becoming a devotee also means full dedication also. So on both sides, one has to be fully dedicated. That's why steadiness, balance, leadership, these things are highly esteemed in society. There's lots of devotees, and many of them are dysfunctional when it comes to all kinds of worldly things. Or sometimes, they may even develop some anomalies. But ideally, those things will be purified over time. But it's not guaranteed just because they're devotee. Yes?
What I've heard about Prabhupada, that he didn't run his family life very nicely. Is that true?
In the end result, we don't have a lot of information anyway about Prabhupada's family life. But in the end result, because Prabhupada gave everything to Krishna, then he did the best thing he possibly could for his family, which is mentioned by Lord Nrsingadev, who blessed Prahlad Maharaj. He said, take a benediction, and Prahlad Maharaj said, I don't want a benediction. I didn't serve you for anything. And Lord Nrsingadev insisted several times, and Prahlad Maharaj finally said, then please, liberate my father. And Lord Nrsingadev said, that's already done. In fact, generations before and after are already liberated. So, actually, by taking to the path of pure devotional service, one serves one's family in the best possible way. But one of Prabhupada's children was handicapped. And it just shows that, you may be a perfect devotee, but you may have trying circumstances materially. It doesn't mean that everything is going to go smoothly.
Basically, you are saying that a devotee may not serve his family materially nicely, and physically may not be very helpful, but spiritually he is the best.
Well, I'm not advocating that one not try to serve one's family.
No, that's
because
may not be. I said may.
Yeah, I know what you said. I'm just trying to be accurate. Because as Lord Kapiladev has mentioned, Guru Nasasyat, Pita Nasasyat, that he mentions a series of kinds of leaders, including parents, and he says that they must be able to deliver their dependents from the path of birth and death. And we shouldn't, on the basis of our fledgling devotional service, abdicate our responsibility to our family and other kinds of worldly responsibilities. One should carefully cultivate both. And Shastra says that when one has achieved full success through a lifetime of practice in developing complete faith in the Shastra, that only then can one begin to think about giving up those responsibilities, not prematurely. Yes.
Generally, people feel that, a devotee actually, leaves things out for his family, but actually that's not the case. He's more vigilant around what is more beneficial for not just his family, but his overall ecosystem. Even when we chant, Srila Prabhupada recommends to chant so that others can hear, so that adjoining, animals, plants, all gets benefit. And more or less, like for example, in our Bhagavad Gita also, when Krishna educates Arjuna on this, it's not that after learning the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, like you have given the example earlier, he drops his arms and say, "Oh no, now I should go." And but he at that point he took the vow, and for 18 days he continuously fought with his elders, his relatives, and just follow the instructions. So it's situational, that sometimes it is perceived that there is some misunderstanding, but actually, a devotee is always trying beneficial for everybody around him. And same is the case of his Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, Jai Vijay, they are pretty liberated souls. They are just playing part of a leela in this whole entire things. And even if Prahlad Maharaj is requesting for liberation or benedictions for his father, eternally it's all leela and Krishna's arrangements on how things are fitting together, so that the final they can again go back to serve the lordships.
Last point. Yes. A text? Okay, an observation. Who's it from?
This is from Pratibha Mataji in Sacramento. Okay. So she says, great process description on hearing kind. Prabhuji. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.14, there is another aspect which mentions importance of hearing And the very next verse gives how service to a devotee without any vice helps and increases your hearing. Interestingly, I just read this yesterday. Thanks. And there's one more coming from Sudeep Prabhu.
From where?
No. This is coming from Bhakta Dawn. Bhakta Dawn, D-O-N.
Okay.
Dawn. And his question is, if a devotee is supposed to have only one Diksha or initiating spiritual master, why have some taken re-initiation 1, 2 and sometimes 3 times?
Well, according to Shastra, if a spiritual master deviates from the path of devotional service and gives up the practice of devotional service and is seriously off the path, meaning especially he or she has given up the conception that Vishnu is God and so forth, then that spiritual master is to be rejected. This is according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Harinam Chintamani, and also there's a Shastra by Narahari Sarkar Thakur who mentions the process of taking another shelter of another guru in the case that one guru deviates from the path of devotional service. One may say, well, how's that possible? The living entity situated in the material world is marginal and can deviate. So one has to be, one has to examine for oneself very carefully what spiritual master one accepts, and as Prabhupada says in the purport, not for social or ecclesiastical purposes accept a guru, but one should examine, and after hearing and examining a guru for a long time, and vice versa, a spiritual master is not to accept a disciple who is not serious about the process of devotional service. That's also an offense. The disciple can also fall away from the process, and in which case can, give up the contract between the spiritual master and the disciple. That's also mentioned in Shastra, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, that the disciple who gives up the spiritual master in the process of devotional service may then sever the relationship. However, this is not standard. One accepts one initiating spiritual master, but may take shelter of other shiksha or instructing spiritual masters. And now we have about 3 minutes to put away the books, and we're going to begin the artik at exactly 8 o'clock. Yes?
I'll ask later, Prabhu.
Okay, ask later. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Everyone watching online ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyari Shatarine Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Raroti Koshobha Janavitata Vane Jagamana Loba Dakine Nitai Chan Bame Gadadhara Nikate Advaita Shrini Vaschatradara Bose Ache Gaura Chan Radna Singhasane Arati Korina Brahma Adi Devagane Narari Ari Kori Chamaradhulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshari Gaya Shankha Baje Ghanda Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala Aladeshe Vanamala Kori Jalamala Shiva Shukanarada Preme Garagada Bhakti Vinodha Dekhe Gaurara Sampada Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Gaurangera Rotik Shobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Gaurangera Rotiko Shobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arotiko Shobha Janavithatavane Jagamana Lobha Janavithatavane Jagamana Lobha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arutiko Shobha Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arutiko Shobha Janavithatavane Jagamana Lobha Janavithatavane Jagamana Lobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Gaurangera Rotik Shobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Gaurangera Rotiko Shobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jai. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jaya. Hey Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jaya. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jaya. Hey Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Thai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Thai Gaur Hari Bol. Thai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Thai Gaur Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Go Premanande Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotar Shishimad Bhai Charanad Vinda Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotar Shishimad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnava Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sagaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopi Nasham Kund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Samabeta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Namaste Narashinghaya Prahlada Dayane Hiranyakashipur Vakshaha Shilatanka Nakalaye Ito Nishingha Parato Nishingho Yato Yato Yamitato Nishingha Bahir Nishingo Ridaye Nishingo Nishingamaring Sharanam Prapadye Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaste Tejase Aviravir Bhava Vajranakha Vajradamshtra Karmashayan Randaya Tamo Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Madmani Bhuyishta Om Shram Vagisha Yasya Vadane Lakshmir Yasya Chavakshasi Yasyaste Hridaye Samvid Tamnashinga Maham Bhaje Prahlada Hridayaladam Bhakta Vidya Vidaranam Shadarindu Chimbande Parindra Varanam Harim Shri Nrsimha Jai Nrsimha Jai Jai Nrsimha Prahlada Desha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Ugraupyanugravayam Sabhaktanam Rakeshari Keshari Vasapothanam Manyesham Mukha Vikramaha Tavakara Kamala Varena Kamadhuta Shingam Dalita Iranya Kashi Putandu Bringam Keshavadrita Nadahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalava Nakamadhuta Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Shikadiya Shabnadiya Priche Neche Gornitae Shikadiya Shabnadiya Priche Neche Gornit Hari Bo Bolo Re Shikadiya Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Miche Mayar Boshe Jacho Beshe Kacho Habudu Buba Miche Hari Bo Bolo Re Miche Mayar Boshe Miche Mayar Boshe Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Jiv Krishna Das Vishwash Korle Toar Duko Naiji Krishna Das Vishwash Korle Toar Hari Bo Bolo Re Jiv Krishna Das Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolo Re Shobha Krishna Bolbe Jabe Pulaka habe jorbi anki boli thai Krishna. Krishna bolbe jabe pulaka habe jorbi anki boli thai Krishna. Pulaka habe jorbi anki Hari bolo Krishna bolbe jabe. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobha. Radha Krishna bolo shange cholo e matra bhikha chai Radha. Hari bolo Radha Krishna bolo. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobha. Jai Shakla Vipad Bhakti Vinod Bolan Jakunum Nam Gai. Jai Jai Shakla Vipad Bhakti Vinod Bolan Jakunum Nam Gai. Bhakti Vinod Hari bolo re Jai Shakal Vipad. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobha. Shri Shri Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobha. Hari bol Hari bol Hari bol Nitai Gaura Hari bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Shriman Mahaprabhu Dameshwara ki jai. Shri Shri Radhamadan Mohan ji ki jai. Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev ki jai. Jai Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Srila Sakchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Shri Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gope Manande Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on a Wednesday night to International Society for Krishna Consciousness at Silicon Valley, otherwise known as ISV. And we'd like to welcome all our new guests tonight. Anybody here for the first time? Did the kids come last time? All right. Do you mind introducing the family?
Okay. Sure. Thank you. My name is Robert, and I brought my nephew, Sungjun. He's from Korea. He'll be leaving next Saturday. So.
Where are you going? Korea. To your home.
He's stayed with us since October. And, well, I could say more about that. But, so anyways, these are my two children. Paul's 5. He just started kindergarten. And this is Anna. She's 3.
Haribo! Welcome to all of you. Thanks for coming. Have a great trip back to Seoul. Okay, maybe we'll see you over there. Anybody else here for the first time? So we're inching towards our goal. You'll notice, I just noticed, and Mahaprabhu is here, and at his lotus feet, it says Team ISV goals. So they must be blessed this time. And we're working towards our goal of distributing at least 4,001 books, including at least 26 Caitanya Caritamrita sets. Well, I can't keep that a secret. I think everybody knows that we surpassed the goal for the Caitanya Caritamrita sets, because practically in one weekend we did 26, the previous weekend, and last weekend we did another 30. And everyone saw it happen, so I can't hide that fact. Yeah. 56 sets in 2 weekends is not bad. We did shake things up a little bit at the BBT, however, because they don't have that many sets of Caitanya Caritamritas. And from what I heard, the story I heard was that just to get the 26 sets was it was an extraction process, and we got them. And then somehow or other, by chance, we distributed another 30 sets the next weekend, even though we didn't have them yet. So when I asked Sri Krishna Purushottam, where are we going to get those sets, he looked at me and said, "Now that's up to you." So I was calling all my friends around everywhere, anyone connected with the BBT in Los Angeles, and somehow or other, miraculously, they gave us they released those 30 sets and let us have it, partly because I pleaded our case that we already sold them, and that's true, and the devotees were waiting for them coming up on Sunday. So we will be able to deliver those. I've heard that they're on their way here on a truck. They'll arrive on Friday. Is that correct? Where are they arriving anyway? Okay. Let's make sure we're here to get them. So, and other goals, 6,001 in Lakshmi points. We're inching towards that goal. We haven't realized that yet, but we're hoping to. We have Harinam Sankirtan for Gopurnima this Friday. That's going to be in Palo Alto, and it will be on University Avenue, either at Emerson Street, which is at Lytton Park, the Lytton Plaza, or at Bryant Street. I can say that Bryant Street has been one of our most successful locations. In fact, when Keshav Bharti Maharaj was here and he led the kirtan there, he didn't stop for 2 hours. He was telling me on the way down in the car that he didn't have the strength to lead kirtan anymore outside. And then he got there and he said, "All right, just lead for a little while." And on the way home, I said, "Maharaj, you led for 2 hours." He said, "I don't know what happened." But what happened was we sold more books that day than ever before in Palo Alto, because the kirtan was so inspired, and the devotees were dancing and people were attracted, and that's what happens. The spiritual energy pulls people in, and they become helplessly attracted to Krishna, His holy name, and they want to read the books and so forth. So it's a joyous event. It's the Yuga Dharma. Driti's usually there, so that's a big attraction. And and so everyone come. The weather's turning nice. The flowers are just starting to come out. It'll be beautiful out there. We'll distribute prasadam. We'll distribute books. We'll chant to our heart's content in the nice weather. You probably won't even need a sweater, but might as well bring one just in case. And then and we'll distribute a lot of books that day, just to make sure that we make our goal for numbers of books. And Lakshmi collected. We're still taking in more Lakshmi for the book distribution. Another announcement is that there's an auction going on. I don't know if you know about this, but there are some items that my godbrother Navadvip Prabhu had needed to put up for auction because he had to have a liver transplant. He didn't have any money, and all he had was some original items that were owned by Srila Prabhupada. One was Prabhupada's gamsha. Prabhupada used that gamsha, and he has certification to that fact. And he also has an original set of Bhagavatams that came over with Prabhupada on the Jaladuta. And there are several other items that he was auctioning off. What is the URL of that auction site? IskonSiliconValley.com/auction. That's all you got to do. You go on there and you'll see the auction's already live and going. And there was a base price for these items, which was ridiculously low. And that base price is going to help pay for Navadvip Prabhu's operation. And anything over that is going for the new temple. You have more information, I can tell. Here it is. We'll be able to see the items right here on this little iPhone. The original painting of Lord Nityananda and Jiva Goswami. This is an original painting. Original set of 3 Bhagavatams. There's a painting of Srila Prabhupada. There's a dhoti and a gamsha worn by Srila Prabhupada. And there's 15 original pen and ink drawings by Ramnath. So there's some beautiful original artwork, and also this original set of Bhagavatams. It's a set of 3 Bhagavatams. That's what Prabhupada brought with him on the Jaladuta. And Prabhupada's dhoti and gamsha that he personally wore. And those are all online here at the IskonSiliconValley.com/auction. You can go there and bid. And the bidding's going to go all the way up until Gurpurnima night. Okay? Damodar, any other pertinent information? Okay. And our cooks for tonight have been kept secret until this point. And we're just about to reveal their names. Nitya Navina and Yashoda Kumar were the cooks. Hare Krishna. I saw Ramananda Sakar Prabhu earlier around here, so I know he's somewhere on the campus, but he would request, I know if he was nearby, that if there are those who would like the opportunity to help serve just after prasadam by helping to clean the temple, we can give you some service. He'll accept maybe 3 devotees, judging on the size of the audience tonight, who would like to help out. Anybody want to spend an extra 15 minutes afterwards and help? Damodar, thank you. Anybody want to be on Damodar's team? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You're not going anywhere till... Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And we're going to have prasadam. Is it being served here or outside? In the picnic area outside? And then there'll be room to sit in here if you like. And Harinam Saturday, and then Tuesday. Of course, we have the regular program on Saturday. We'll have a morning program here. Oh, not a regular program. A special program. There will be a Harinam initiation ceremony. Swati Mataji is accepting her first initiation on Saturday morning, so that will start at 7:30 a.m. So everyone please come, bring all your friends. Hare Krishna. And Sunday we'll have the regular program here. Well, none of the programs are regular. But they'll be at a regular time on Sunday. And that will be starting at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And by the way, Friday is Ekadashi. And Saturday, of course, is Dwadashi. And according to the Shastra, it's one of the most auspicious days for an initiation. And not only those who are initiated, but one who participates in the initiation ceremony on Dwadashi gets great spiritual merit. So I wouldn't miss it if I was you. And then Monday, we'll be getting ready for Tuesday, which is Gaur Purnima. And Gaur Purnima will have programs all day long, starting at 4:30 a.m. for the Mangal Arti. And then we guarantee you non-stop hearing and chanting all day long until the wee hours of the night. It will not stop. The vibration will go on. So anyone who wants to tell their boss that they have better things to do, and just come on in. And we'll be here all day hearing and chanting. We don't even have to stop to eat because it's a fasting day, so we're off the hook on that one. And we can hear and chant to our heart's content. Right here in ISKCON Silicon Valley. It's a going away party for this little building that we've been in for almost 8 years now. And we'll be having a huge celebration that night. There'll be a jumper outside. There'll be face painting. There'll be exhibits. There'll be kirtans. There'll be abhisheks. Everything happening right here at ISKCON Silicon Valley. So invite all your friends. There's a poster that's gone out online. You can circulate that everywhere and invite people to come. Any other announcements? Mukharavind. Trishab's birthday is today. And here he is, Trishab himself. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna, dear Trishab Prabhu. Hare Krishna to you. A gentler soul I don't know if I've met in this lifetime. Always enthusiastic for all the activities of devotional service. Practically every time there's a program and I leave here, he comes specially to tell me how enlivened he is in Krishna consciousness. Trishab, we're so glad that you're here. He has been responsible behind the scenes for putting together the digital e-book distribution. He organized that. He and Jagannath Prabhu worked on that conjointly and put together a very successful program. He's an author. He's also writing right now an article for the BTG magazine. What is the other project you're working on? Shloka on the Go. Who said that? Was that? Hansapriya, are you there? Hansapriya, is that you? Phantom voice. Trishab, thank you very much for giving us your association in our ISV. We're very happy for this day that you appeared in this world. And would you like to say a few words to all your fans and well-wishers?
Thank you so much, and I'm completely blessed to be here. And first and foremost, I want to thank Vaisesika Prabhu, and I really want to give all of us to give a really big hand to Vaisesika Prabhu. I mean, one thing I can, I can vouch for and I can sign on a dotted line is that, by hearing from Vaisesika Prabhu regularly, all good fortune comes in life and there's so much purification that happens.
Hare Krishna. And, okay, Trishab Prabhu, Haribol. Okay.
I'm thankful to all the devotees for allowing me to be here in such a good association. I'm so feeling fortunate and thank you.
Gaur Premanande Haribol. Anything else? Shari, yes.
This Gaur Purnima is in this temple, just in case someone...
Gaur Purnima is being held here for old time's sake, 951 South Bascom. The new temple is being constructed. It's in the finishing stages. There are still a couple permits to be finalized, but everything is looking very nice. It's just we're counting the days, maybe even the minutes. We don't know, but we didn't want to gamble because we didn't know what kind of condition the place would be in, and we weren't able to move the deities, knowing that we weren't able to all go over there and serve them if the permits weren't done yet. Ramanuj. So, Sharirad Vijajal, Jodendriya Tahikal, Jibe Bile Vishay Shagade, Tarmaje Dibayati, Lobamai Sudurmati, Take Jita Katina Shangshade, Krishna Bora Doyamoy, Puri Bhare Jifajai, Shaprashadana Dilobai, Shayanamrita Pao, Radha Krishna Gunagao, Premi Dako Caitanya Nita, Akadina Shanti Pure, Prabhu Advaitera Gare, Dui Prabhu Bhojane Bosilo, Shakori Aswadana, Prabhu Bole Bhakta Gana, Esha Krishna Aswadilo, Heno Shakashwadane, Krishna Prema Aise Mane, Se Preme Koro Aswadan, Jada Buddhi Parihari, Prasara Bhojana Kori, Hari Hari Bolo Sarvajan, Paire Sachirangani Kabu, Madhavendra Puri Prabhu, Prasadana Korina Bhojan, Kaite Kaite Tara, Ailo Prema Sudurba, Bole Shuno Sanyasi Ragan, Mocha Ganta Pula Badi, Dali Dalna Chachari, Sachi Mata Korilo Randan, Tara Shuddha Bhakti Hari, Bhojana Korilo Hari, Sudasamayanam Vyanjan, Jogi Jogi Pai Jaha, Boge Ajha Betaha, Hari Boli Kausa Bebai, Krishnera Prasarana, Shri Jagat Kori Dhanya, Tripurari Nache Jahapa, Shri Purari Nache Jahapa, Mabrashare Govinde Nama Brahmari Vaishnave Sapa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwaso Navajaya Prasade Sarvadhukanam Hanirasho Pajayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Paryavatishtate Bhagavat Shri Mahaprasade Ki Jai Gopremanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Please come take prasadam. Haribo.